Afternoon from Mama Ree's Kitchen. I'm at home today. We're closed at the restaurant, enjoying my off time. Today we're going to make a squash casserole. Now don't turn your nose up because it's squash. It is so good. I'm not a squash person either, but this is the best casserole you'll ever eat. I kind of made my own recipe. Now I want you to look over here in my skillet. I've got a cup and a half. One heaping cup, because we like onions. One heaping cup of chopped onions. I'm going to saute them in about 3 tablespoons of unsalted butter. Now if you wonder why I use unsalted, if you use salted it browns your stuff, but the unsalted will not. So we're going to let this be cooking. I started it out on high. But we are going to cut it down here in just a few minutes. I'm going to get it good and hot. And one thing about this, you need to kind of keep them stirred as they're cooking. So I'm going to turn them on down on about maybe medium. About medium. Okay, we're going to go with our casserole now. Alright, I went to a store here in town and I got me 4 cans. I thought I needed 4 cups of squash. So I got 4 cans. Well, when I got through and drained them and mashed them up, I had a half a cup. It took 4 to make 2 cups. So anyway, I went back and got some more. Now, if you're going to make it, you're going to need 8 little cans or 4 big cans, or just go ahead and buy you a gallon because it's going to shrink up drastically when you let the water out, and you want to drain them real good and mash them up with your hands. And that's what I have right here. I've got 4 cups of squash that I have mashed up. So I'm going to put it in my bowl. And that seems like a lot. Of course, it's hard for me to make just a little bit. But you can cut them. And let me say this too. In my recipes, you can cut them down. You can make them more. Just watch the amount that you put in them, and you can cut them down and make more. I'm going to have a pretty good size one here. All right. Let me check my onions. They're getting a little brown. I may have to cut them down just a little more. But you want them sauteed real good. You want them tender. I'm going to cut them down just a dab more. All right, now to my 4 cups of squash, I'm going to add 1 can of cream. I'm supposed to have cream of mushroom soup. Let me run to the pantry and get the cream of mushroom soup. Glad I looked at the front of the can before I put it in. It's 1 can of cream of mushroom soup. Okay? So we're going to put that in. Which chicken probably been better, but I use cream of mushroom. I mean, it could be just as good, but I use cream of mushroom, so that's what we're going to use. That's what I use at the restaurant. Okay. Mix that up real good. It's going to be kind of loose there. All right, I'm going to put in 3 eggs, 3 beaten eggs, okay? And like I said, if you need less, if you need just for you and your husband, just cut all this down in half, and you'll still have plenty. Let me get mine. I depend on this thing here. It works a lot faster than a spoon. Okay, let me check my onions. They're getting just about ready. And they'll finish baking or cooking, get more tender as you cook it in the oven, but you want to get them pretty tender here in your skillet too. Alright, to this, I'm going to go ahead and add my salt and pepper. I like, as I've told you before, I like a lot of pepper. Just put it to your taste. That's the reason I don't tell you a tablespoon or a teaspoon, because you just add to what you like. Now, I'm not going to add much salt because of my cream of mushroom, but I'm going to add some. Okay? And the cheese. I've got a cup and a half of shredded cheese here. My grandson shredded this for me a little bit ago. So we're going to put that in. Now that's all my ingredients except my onions. Okay. Wait, my onions are just about ready. Cut my stove off. Alright. Butter and all, onions and all goes into my casserole. We just mix that in. Alrighty. I've got my pan ready. I've sprayed my casserole dish. So we're just going to, I may have too much for my dish. Nah, it's going to be perfect. Oh, that looks good. All right, now we're going to put it in a 350 oven. And I can't tell you how long to cook it. Start off at least probably 45 minutes. And I put the camera right here, Delane. You see how shaky it is? When it gets done, it's not going to do that. It's going to be firm and it'll be ready to eat. But I'll let you know more about it whenever we come back and it's done. Okay? All right, look forward to seeing you in about 45 minutes. Hey, this is Marie. We're back with our squash casserole. It looks good. Delane, can you get close to it? See how it looks when it's going to be done? I cooked it, I started it on 350. I had to increase mine to 375. So you just kind of watch your oven, and if it's not cooking fast enough, turn it. It took about 55 minutes. So it's done. Let me show you what else we're going to do. I've got Ritz crackers and butter made up to put on top of it. So we're just going to throw it on there real quick, spread it around. And now I'm going to take it and put it back in the oven. My oven's still hot. I'm not going to have my oven on, and just let the crackers kind of get a little crisp. There's a lot of my butter still in the bottom. Okay? Now that's finished. Now, I got one thing. This lady messaged me. I can't remember her name, Delane. Do you remember?
Jenny Spencer.
Who?
Jenny Spencer.
Jenny Spencer. And she asked me about baked chicken breast. And wanted to know, said theirs is always tough, and wanted to know if I knew of a way. Well, I don't bake chicken breast, by the way, but I thought I'd give it a shot. So I worked on it a little bit today. Jenny, let me show you what I've got.
You want me to come over there?
No, I'll be right back. I cooked 2 chicken breasts right here in this. I put some tin foil in it. As you notice, I put a lot of salt and pepper. That's all I put on it, and some olive oil. Well, I cooked it for, what, Delane, 45, 55 minutes on about 350. I took it out, and Jenny, it's just as good and tender and moist. So, but I want to show you something. If it's not moist enough and you cut it up, look, see the drippings I had left in my thing, just pour a little bit over the chicken breast. I did not cover it up while I was cooking it. Just cooked it like that. Now, it did taste a little bland when I broke it up and ate some of it. So you can just add whatever seasoning you want to it and add a little more salt whenever you cut it up. And it's just as tender and juicy, but you got to understand too, white meat in a chicken is never as tender as the dark meat. But that's just really tender. And I hope this has helped you, and it's helped me. I've learned now how to do chicken breast. I've just never done them in the oven like that. So take it and try it and enjoy it. We appreciate you watching today. Our squash casserole will be for lunch tomorrow. And I'll see what else I'm going to fix with it. And we're going to enjoy it. Thank you so much. Pray God's blessings on you abundantly. Goodbye.